Hi, I'm Van, the funeral man. As we approach the holidays, particularly Thanksgiving and Christmas, there's many of you who are watching who are going to be experiencing a first without your loved one. And so we have to ask, is there something that can help with the grief that you will experience during these firsts? I thought about a book I read a few years ago. It's the 2001 biography of founding father and second U.S. President John Adams. Author and historian David McCullough writes in his biography about this tender moment that took place just moments before the death of Adams' wife, Abigail. He was sitting beside her as she lay in the bed dying, and he took a few minutes to walk away, and he spoke to a friend, and he said this, he said, "I wish I could lie down beside her and die too. I cannot bear to see her in this state." There's some of you who are watching right now who can relate to this emotion all too well. You've experienced it firsthand. Abigail Adams died October the 28th, 1818. This meant that President Adams was just weeks away from spending his very first Thanksgiving without his beloved wife, and just weeks away, of course, from Christmas without her. Is there anything that can help with the grief that these firsts bring about? Nancy Guthrie is a Christian author and speaker who writes a lot about the subject of grief. Her and her husband, David, had a daughter and a son who were both born with a rare genetic disorder called Zellweger syndrome, and both children only lived for 6 months. Both Nancy and her husband have been acquainted with deep grief, and from her experience, Nancy has written a number of books that reflect her compassion and care for suffering people. One of Nancy's books is entitled, "What Grieving People Wish You Knew About What Really Helps and What Really Hurts." Let me say that I highly recommend this book because we live in a fallen world and we're all going to experience the death of someone we love. Therefore, we ourselves will need comfort, and someone we know will need comfort. I want to highlight one thing that Nancy said that really helps grieving people. Here's the one thing that she stressed. Grieving people long to keep on hearing their loved one's name. Here's a quote from her book. "The greatest fear grieving people have is that the person you love will be forgotten. The person is gone from their presence, and they're afraid that person will be erased from everyone's thoughts. To hear someone simply speak that person's name is like a balm to the soul of a grieving person." During this Thanksgiving and Christmas season, let me suggest something based upon what Nancy has said that might help. Join yourself with people who will speak your loved one's name, and they'll share memories. And may this be a balm to your needy soul. Now, some of you have already had your firsts, and you've been through this a bit. You've grieved, and maybe you have some thoughts that will help those who are having a first. And so down in the comments section, if you would just offer some comments and suggestions on how to help grieving people during the holidays, I'd really appreciate it. I'd love to hear from you. Also, would you consider liking this video, sharing it, and I'd really appreciate you subscribing to my channel. I'm Van, the funeral man, living with hope in life and in death.